Let's talk about something specific. Note how to make money online. Note ditch your 9 to 5 job. Note remote work is possible, like I always love to say. Today we want to talk about how you as an African living in the African continent can earn up to $3,000 monthly while living in the African continent working remotely for global remote companies. That is about what? Kenyan shillings 390,000, give or take. Yeah, and that is net. In Naira, that would be about 4 million Naira plus, right? In Rand, that would be about what, 55,000 plus Rand, or better yet, convert it to your local currency and see how much you would be earning if you were to land yourself a remote opportunity in 2026. So today we're going to be talking about the strategy, because this is not fantasy, it is not hype, it is all about being strategic and how you position yourself in order to attract and be more visible to these remote opportunities that would fetch you $3,000. But then let's be honest, because $3,000 is not entry-level money. Yeah, it is not I just finished high school money. It is not I've got 6 months of experience money. It is not I just learned or watched one Canva tutorial money. It is not I'm working on my phone whilst earning $3,000 monthly net, and it is not chat moderator job. So I really need us to be honest with ourselves, because this requires skill, it requires positioning, it requires consistency, it requires strategy, it requires proof, and many of our clients are actually living proof because it is achievable. I've seen it, I'm living proof. I've helped countless of our clients actually land remote opportunities that have set them for life. So today, let's break this down step by step. But before we get started, if you're new here, my name is Lorraine and I position candidates for remote work. If you need help with that, check out our website beyondthesavannah.ca.ke. So let's get into the strategy. The very first thing that you want to note is that not all remote roles are actually going to pay you the $3,000 that perhaps you're looking for. The roles that we consistently see pay $3,000 net at the very least would be account managers, customer success manager, any customer related role, product managers, project managers, DevOps, growth marketers, recruiters, operations specialists, software engineers, data analysts. One thing that is common amongst all these functions is that they are not task-oriented, rather they are outcome-oriented. So even as you're looking to land yourself a remote opportunity that enables you to earn $3,000, you also want to position yourself as someone who is outcome-oriented. You want to solve the business problems. You want to make sure that you understand what exactly it is that you bring to the table in terms of your value proposition or your unique value proposition. You want to ensure that you understand how your job or how your tasks and responsibilities actually affect the company's bottom line, because at the end of the day, that is all that matters. Are you bringing this company money? Are you saving this company money? If you're able to do both, amazing. You can ask for much, much more. But if you're not able to do so, if you do not understand the value that you bring to these companies, then getting $3,000 is going to be a tall order. You want to focus on systems, you want to focus on retention, you want to focus on growth, right? You want to focus on growth. So for example, when you look at marketing roles, what you find is that they're focused more on growth, whether it is market growth, it is product growth. Same with product functions. When you look at data or even the tech roles, whether it is software engineer, DevOps engineer, they're more focused on systems because companies need these systems in order for them to function efficiently. And that's why we see the tech roles being paid highly. Yeah, the tech roles being paid more as opposed to the support functions. Then when you look at roles that are oriented towards sales, customer service, account management, HR, these are roles that focus more on retention, whether they're retaining their clients, whether they're retaining the market, whether they're retaining the people. We bring value. These roles actually bring value to the companies, and their value is visible. They're able to see that. So you definitely want to align yourself within those 3 parameters, be it revenue, be it growth, be it retention, and make sure that you are positioning yourself, you're positioning your skills and capabilities with those 3 things, and that becomes part of your value proposition that you're going to be demonstrating to the panel members. And do not forget that you always have to demonstrate that you're a problem solver and that you understand how your task and responsibilities, once again, impact the company's bottom line. If you've learned one thing on this video, do consider giving us a like. The second thing I do want us to talk about is the skill stack. And this is really important because I'm constantly talking about value proposition and understanding your UVP as a talent, because at the end of the day, it is a job market for a particular reason. And you need to be self-aware of what exactly it is that you're bringing to the table and how then your skill stack solves the problems that this company is facing, or even contribute to their vision, to their mission, their objectives that they're actually trying to solve. So you want to look at your skill stack in threefold. One is your primary skill, the second one is the revenue awareness, and then the last one is the tools that are associated with the softwares that you actually need for you to get this job done. Let's take an example. As a customer success manager, a customer experience manager, customer service, right? Your primary skill is going to be relationship building, because with that, you're then able to retain clients, you're then able to renew the subscriptions, you're able to satisfy these clients, you're able to problem solve. Without that anchor, which is relationship building, none of these work, right? None of these things actually work or even work smoothly. And you find that when you're good at relationship building, it then contributes into your revenue awareness, because now you're able to kind of anticipate which clients are going to churn, which clients are going to expand in terms of their account expansions, are they going to add more on, which clients are going to reduce the basket that they currently have. And so that revenue awareness, because you've worked primarily in the relationship building, that then gives you insights into the client's psyche. And then together with all of that, you need to have tools such as Zendesk, Salesforce. I'm always yapping about these things, right? So just have a look at, or even go on Google. What are some of the CRM tools that are being used at the moment, whether it is Salesforce, whether it is HubSpot, Confluence, or whatnot, then get acquainted with that. So when you look at yourself as a customer experience professional or a customer service professional, you look at yourself holistically in terms of the skill set that you're bringing to these companies. And not forgetting, because you also have to measure what it is that you bring to the table, not forgetting the NPSs, the CSAT, the revenue metrics that come with this role. Let's take a look at another example, which would be data analyst. So as a data analyst, you definitely need to be proficient in SQL, need to be proficient in dashboard creation and presentation, need to be proficient in report creation and making inferences from those reports, as well as having business insights. When you look at, you need to work on your ROI, understanding ROI. You need to have a good understanding of paid ads. You need to have a good understanding of funnel optimization, CRO, as well as ROI tracking. One thing that is common with high earning professionals is that they're not generalist, at least at the individual contributor level, right? I think we talked about this in the last video. You need to be a specialist. You need to know that you need to have that one skill that you're really, really good at, and that's going to enable you kind of quote more and be a high earner. At an individual contributor level, at a mid-level manager role, we're not looking for you to be a generalist. That is something that we look at when you're now hiring the VPs, the C-suite, and the directors, not individual contributor. At this stage, you are a value creator, not a generalist. The third step that you want to take would be positioning. Positioning. You need to position yourself for these global companies. You need to position yourself for the global market. And I'll be square with you. No on-site role, regardless of the country that you're in, is going to be paying you $3,000 as net as a customer success manager or even a data analyst. You're not going to find that in a local on-site market. And that leaves you with what? Global remote opportunities, and mostly startups. And these startups are going to be based mostly in the US, or let's call it the global north. So they're going to be based in the US, in Europe, sometimes in APAC as well. And one thing that is key, and one thing about startups is that how they operate and how they think about change and how they think about systems is completely different. In a period of 1 month, you might feel like you're actually working for 3 different companies. I kid you not. Simply because of how quickly things change in such an environment. And so you definitely want to demonstrate to a recruiter, without even having a conversation with them first, that you're adaptable, you're a highly adaptable candidate, you are an agile thinker, and you're capable of surviving in a startup environment, even if you haven't worked in a startup environment before. And how does this look like in your CV? You need to show metrics, you need to show tools and softwares that you have used, highlight async collaboration, you need to highlight your autonomy, as well as using global language. And if you struggle with this, do take advantage of a free CV review as Beyond the Savannah. Send it our way. Our email address is highlighted on our website. Send us your CV. We'll do a free CV review for you, looking at 2 things. One, is your CV ATS friendly? 2, is it aligned with the opportunity that you are looking for? And that alignment is what you're talking about positioning. So if you do not get the positioning right, it means that you are getting locked out of these opportunities. The fourth thing that you definitely want to double down on is proof of competence. Because at the end of the day, we as remote recruiters look for evidence. We as remote recruiters, we look for evidence. When you're skimming through your CV, within those 6 to 8 seconds, what exactly are we looking at? Evidence to showcase to us that you know what it takes to work remotely. You know what the job skill set are. You are the person to get the job done. We are constantly looking at proof. So you as a job seeker, you definitely need to build that evidence, and that needs to come off really clearly on your CV. So then what do you do as a job seeker? How then can you demonstrate proof or even build evidence? You can build evidence or proof through LinkedIn by having original takes and showcasing to us by giving us a glimpse into how your brain works, right? What are some of your original takes? What does this actually matter to you? How do you think of things differently? How are you different from the rest of the folk? Then you can also build proof through your portfolios, especially if you're in the creative space. If you're in tech, if you're a virtual assistant, if you're an executive assistant, if you're a project manager, you definitely need to have a portfolio. And let that portfolio demonstrate the projects that you've worked on. You would be wise to actually pick some of your most exciting projects to showcase on the portfolio. You can also build proof by showcasing the case studies that you've worked on, any freelance projects, any certifications, because as an HR, how are you going to showcase proof of even evidence? It's going to be through LinkedIn as well as certification. So if you're a marketer, create an ad. If you're a data analyst, build dashboards. If you're into customer success, document some of the retention frameworks that you have used in your past roles, in your previous roles, or even in your current role that you have seen success in. Do not wait for your existing company to validate you. Build your own proof. And do that using LinkedIn. And that is why it is important for us to have an optimized LinkedIn profile. Whilst we're doing all this work in the back end, we still need our profile to be visible and searchable by the recruiters or even people in our networks that will then be able to give us access to some of the opportunities that perhaps are not in the global job boards like beyondthesavannah.co.ke. The fifth step that I do want you to take whilst in this journey of earning $3,000 as an African is strategically applying to these opportunities. The last thing you want to do is sending out 300 applications blindly, not knowing how your CV actually scores against the job advert. And that is why over at Beyond the Savannah, we've got an amazing tool called Savannah AI, and it typically works similar to an ATS. It looks at the keywords on your CV versus the keywords on the job advert, and then it gives you a score. Together with all of that, you know what it's going to do? It's going to give you recommendations that you can then action to increase your score. I've said this time and time again. If you're scoring anything less than 85%, baby, do not send out that application. Do not, yeah? Because either you're going to get crickets or you're going to get that regret email. I do understand the need to hit the numbers, but if you're not being strategic enough and if you're not being intentional about how exactly you're sending out applications, you're eventually going to get burnt out and not having landed any shortlist, not having attended any interview. And then you're going to think that remote work is not for you, or you're going to think that the skills that you have are not relevant in the remote space. Yet, you could have then used Savannah AI to position yourself, then used Savannah AI to increase your chances of getting those shortlists, which eventually leads to an interview and eventually leads to you landing that 3,000 role. You see how that works? The sixth step that I do want us to kind of talk about very briefly would be you need to interview not like a job seeker, but as a consultant. Remember what I talked about earlier, that you need to problem solve. And this is where you're going to shine better than any other person, better than any other candidate who's looking for an opportunity. Instead of, I'm excited to learn about this and that, I'm excited to join your team, why don't you start by doing a competitor analysis, understand what the problem is during that quarter. If you're in customer service, try and identify this. What are the competitors doing? What are some of the new products that they've brought on board? How is that affecting the market value that this company actually has? Like I've said, you come off as one, a problem solver, but then also two, you actually show eagerness. And if you're able to demonstrate that one, you're capable of doing the job, you understand how the job gets done, and you are the person to get the job done, 100%, you're definitely going to land that opportunity. At the end of the day, that $3,000 is not being paid to you because you are enthusiastic and you've got the drive, right? You're paid to think and you're paid to problem solve. So demonstrate to them that you are exactly what they're looking for in the interview setting. If you've learned 2 things from this video so far, consider subscribing, and also do leave us a comment. What have you learned so far? The 7th thing that I do want us to talk about is timelines. I do not want you to have unrealistic timelines. I do need us to be realistic in terms of our timeline expectations. The average global time at this stage in 2026 is between 6 to 12 months. So you also do need to give yourself a little bit of grace and a little bit of time in order for you to see how the market reacts to your CV that is ATS friendly, and also to your LinkedIn that is optimized, and also to that amazing introductory video that I'm sure you do have by now if you're looking to land yourself a remote opportunity. So do give yourself grace in terms of a proper timeline. That is going to reduce the pressure that you have on yourself for you to land yourself a remote opportunity. Remember, it is about strategy and not a lottery. It's about having proper systems, having the strategy put in place, and actually putting those strategies into action. And then lastly, I do want us to work on our mindset shift, because that even affects how we show up in an interview. That also affects how we do answer some of the application questions that we do find when you're sending out an application. That affects your energy and the zest that you're displaying in your introductory video or introductory audio. So changing your mindset from being a local employee to being a global employee is one of the best things that can actually happen to you as a remote job seeker. You need to understand that, one, you're not competing locally, you're competing globally, and that affects how you position yourself and how you then communicate your value proposition to these companies, right? So think globally, less locally, and the beauty is the pay is also global. So it is commensurate to the effort that you're going to be putting in one, sending out these applications, and also the work that you're going to be doing. So if this helped you, or if you found nuggets in this video, do let me know in the comment section what are some of the items that you've learned from this video. And also, if you're struggling with the positioning and better understanding what remote companies are looking for in terms of a candidate profile, we at Beyond the Savannah are here to help you. We help you align yourself to these remote opportunities by having the proper tools of trade. That means having an ATS-friendly CV and optimized LinkedIn profile, as well as an introductory video. Then we go beyond that to make sure that you are positioning yourself as a LinkedIn thought leader. We then also help you position you to these high-paying remote opportunities that are stable, that are full-time, and you're able to kind of enjoy and work and earn in foreign currency. And lastly, we help you develop a strategy that actually works for you, because the $3,000 remotely is not about luck, it is about strategy. And the beauty with strategy is that it is built. So like I said, do let me know in the comment section what are some of your learnings, what are some of the nuggets that you've gotten from this video. Leave them in the comment section and we'll definitely get to you. I guess I will see you in the next one. Bye.